You are watching Business Heroine TV for the entrepreneur who says she will and does. Join the Business Heroine community today at businessheroinemagazine.com. And now, tune into the show.
Hi and welcome. I'm Ann Perry, founder of Business Heroine, and today our special guest expert that we are here to talk with is Bethany Kelly. Now, Bethany is the founder of Courageous Creatives. It's a company designed to support creative entrepreneurs, authors, speakers, and coaches make money with their creative gifts. So I'm going to let Bethany tell you a little bit more about her story, but I wanted to give you this context. In her own career, Bethany exchanged her own creative pursuits, primarily music and performing. She exchanged it for the stability of work as a graphic designer. And so she had this invigorating career for a while as a creative director for a production team. But eventually she found herself stuck behind a desk and just spending enormous amount of energy doing work that wasn't a match for her creativity or her vitality. And did this for a few stressful years, and it ended up becoming a breakdown in her health, which I want her to share more with us about. But what's fascinating is that as part of her recovery, she made the commitment to change her life, to step into her dreams again, and to pursue them big time with gusto. And so the result of that is Courageous Creatives. So now Bethany helps creative business owners package their expertise into programs and products that stand out in the marketplace, captivate their audience, and generate passive income. So it's an amazing story, and Bethany, thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm really happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. So I have all these questions I want to ask you. You support creative people in making money with their creative gifts. And so tell us, why is that important?
Well, to me, it's important because as a creative person myself, I've struggled so much in my life feeling like I have to adapt to this world around me that hasn't always been so kind to my creative gifts, and that I haven't really felt like I fit in because so many other people and so much of how the world is structured and set up is really very process-oriented, system-oriented. And as a creative, my brain just works differently. I just think differently, and I want to operate differently. So I've always felt, I've never felt like I fit in. And that has been a cause of suffering in my life. And I feel that creative people in general have so much to offer, and it's really a shame that there are so few creative people that actually make their living with their creativity. And I think entrepreneurs are some of the most creative people around because they're actually willing to step out of this mold that of so much that is expected and move into something creative and actually make money with it. And I love supporting that because doing that for me has been so important, and I want to support other creative people in making money with their gifts as well.
Yeah, it's like being a creative person, there's sort of this stigma that it's like you have to either sell art and make it big as like a gallery, selling art, or like become a movie star, or it's either like make it or break it seems like.
Yeah, and it's like, you've heard the starving artist concept. I mean, There's stigmas in society about what is and isn't possible. And it's almost like there's very few, very specific niches where people feel that it is even okay to express their creativity through writing or as an artist or as a musician or, any of these. And there's always stigmas attached to all of those as well. And when you get down to it, like, your creativity is really a big part of who you are, and how you can express that is really unlimited. And I think we put limits on ourselves, or we allow the world around us to limit ourselves. And I like to help people take away those limitations and actually fully express themselves and their creative gifts in a way that feels really authentic to them and makes them money. So that I don't think we should have these starving artist concepts anymore, or the struggling musicians. We as creative people should be able to express ourselves fully and expressively and get paid to do that.
Beautiful. I'm on board. I love it.
Good.
So, I can hear when you're talking that it's like this came from a painful past, and I shared a little bit about your story when I introduced you. But tell us more about that. Was there kind of like this make it or break it moment, this like defining moment where it's like enough's enough, something's got to give?
Yeah, there was. There really was. And as a child, I was a very, very creative child. And it's sad. I think my experience is not unique. I know that a lot of people have experienced this, and we tend to our creativity can be punished out of us, can be squelched out of us, can be medicated out of us, can be shamed out of us. And, aside from being medicated, some of the other stuff was my experience as a child. And it became very clear to me early on that the way that I would be successful was going to be if I could conform and adapt to the expectations around me. Mm-hmm. And while some people will rebel against that, I went inward and did my utmost to conform. And really, all of the success that I saw in life was predicated on my ability to survive and to adapt and to conform to expectations. Mm-hmm. And I did that really, really well. And I credit my creativity with that, because I found ways to actually make that work for me. But it came at a really big price and a really big cost to me. And it cost me my happiness. And eventually it cost me my health, where it was so much work for me to adapt into systems and into expectations that just weren't me. And I wasn't able to be myself or to express myself or to feel comfortable as myself. So my whole life felt like this role that I was playing. Mm-hmm. And that gets really, really exhausting. And eventually my body just said, oh, that's it. We've had enough. And my health broke down in a very significant way. I got sick, and I stayed sick for 2 years, which I don't recommend to anyone. Really, honestly, figure it out before you hit this point, because 2 years is a long time to be sick. And the doctors, they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. It was all these fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, autoimmune disease. My body was just like falling apart, and I didn't know if I was going to recover. And I couldn't work. I couldn't really parent my daughter. It was a really, really dark time for me. And at the time, it felt like my whole world was falling apart. Now I look back on it, and I'm so grateful that happened, because it was the wake-up call for me. It made me realize that what I was doing was not aligned with anything that brought me joy and vitality and inspiration and all of that. And it made me realize that I had become really a fraud in my life. And I had done it, with great intentions. Yeah. My intentions were to survive. That's great. We all, I wanted to support others, but I was doing it in a way that was just not, it was not me. Yeah. So that's when I recognized that I needed to make some big changes, and I started to step out and do that. And over the last 3 years have started my own business, and it's been a wild and scary, sometimes pretty scary ride. I've had to make some, oh wow, I have some gardeners out there with the thing. Hopefully they go by fast. I've had to make some pretty flying leaps, where you jump off the cliff and hope that there's going to be ground underneath you, or you're going to develop wings on the way down. But
share that story, because you told me this offline, and it's like you were living in Mexico, right?
Yeah. I got sick. When I got sick, I was in Mexico, so I was kind of stuck there. Can you hear?
I can hear it. It sounds like a little feedback, but you know what? This is the life of a work-from-home entrepreneur. Sometimes there's gardeners out the side the window, so I can still hear you. So
okay, good. So yeah, I was in Mexico and I got sick. I got stuck there. I was doing a project there, and I got sick and I got stuck. And when I finally recovered, and I was like, okay, it's time to go back to the U.S. and get set up. And I had been in Mexico for some years, so my life was there. So I sold everything that I owned that I couldn't fit into 6 suitcases, a box of books, and my beloved guitar, and flew back to the U.S. with my daughter and my dream to just get started on my own business and not have to get a job job. Wow. Where I was going to have to, again, adapt myself into an environment that wasn't me, and just determined to create my own life and my own environment that supported me, my gifts, and what I wanted to create in this world. And it's been crazy. I actually didn't even want to talk about how kind of crazy my dreams are, because I feel like people are going to be like, who are you? What do you think you can do that for? But it's amazing that as I do this, the universe is supporting me step by step, and it's coming together. And I look back and I'm like, wow, I'm actually surviving. I'm doing better than surviving now. I'm like starting to thrive. It's coming together, and being able to do work that I love and support people in ways that just brings me so much joy. Oh my God. I feel like I've never been happier. I've never felt more alive. I've never felt more like me. Yeah. And it's just, I'm super happy. I mean, I don't have everything figured out, but I'm happy, and that's awesome.
That makes me so happy, because that's what it's really all about. It's like you're doing work you love, and you're serving people and helping people avoid or alleviate the pain that you knew very intimately. And so what you're doing is bridging this world between art and money that has been this gap. And so it's amazing. It's profound. So I'm just so happy for you. I love hearing stories like that. And I loved what you said about, what was it, like jumping off the cliff and just hoping to grow wings on your way down, because there's no, that's taking those risks and those leaps of faith. That's when amazing stuff happens. And that's awesome. So tell me more about some of the unique challenges that creative people tend to experience in the world today. You talked about it a little bit before, but I would love to know just more, like what is the experience that they're going through right now?
I think that there's a lot of pressure on creative people to conform. A lot of creative people are real right-brain visionaries, and they connect well with people, or maybe not. Maybe they might just be the visionaries, but they just don't. They think differently. They feel differently. They operate differently. And there's so much pressure with all of the structure and all of the systems and everything that the way this world is set up does not favor uniqueness, individuality, and unique expression. It's like everything in life is trying to push you into this mold that doesn't feel like you. And you have two choices. You either conform or you rebel. And there's suffering as a result of either of those choices. The people that rebel, they go and do it their own way and in their own, and they might suffer for that. The people that conform, like me, have their own suffering. And I think that the very sensitivity and the very thing that connects people with their gifts or their genius, or that enables them to think differently and create something amazing in the world, is also often the source of their greatest injury or wounds in life. And I think that there is a lot of healing that needs to be done there. Because when you actually, I found this for myself, when I've actually decided, I made this decision, I'm going to come out in the world in a bigger way with my gifts, oh my God, stuff came up. and stuff that I had to work through and stuff I had to heal. And the more that I have done that, the more I am able to actually bring my work out into the world and have the joy and have the inspiration in doing so. So I think a big challenge that creative people find is that healing. Another thing is creative people have so many ideas. There's so many things that they could do. It's often a challenge to focus the energy down to one thing that is going to get them really great results. And so that's one of the ways that I support people as well is funneling. You don't want to constrict that creative energy. You never want to constrict that creative energy. That's the last thing that any creative should do. That's the last thing I ever want to do for a creative person. I like to think of it as funneling it, directing it. Okay, how can we direct that creative energy in a way that is going to create the best results for a person?
Yeah.
Wherever they're looking for those results. Generally speaking, it's financially. It could be someplace else too.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about that because this is exciting. So you help creative people, and that can be entrepreneurs, authors, actual like musicians, fine art artists. You help them to funnel their creativity and create money with it. So tell us about your services. What exactly do you do?
So I have a background as a creative director and project manager, and right now that's a big part of what I do in my business is I help people package their expertise or package their gift into something that they can offer as a product. And I typically right now work with people who are already established in their business. They've gotten to a certain point. They've maximized their business and probably most of it is one-on-one, and now they need to or want to expand, create leverage, and start communicating with more people. So I help them in really creative ways to package that expertise into an information product that they can sell, a book, a home study system. It could be an audio program, a video program. It could be a program or a system, something that packages it in a form that they can then put out into the world and get to in front of more people. And there's a couple of things that are important to me. Like I want somebody, when they're done with their book or their product, to look at it and be so proud of it. Like, this is an accurate representation of me, of my message, of my personality, of what I'm up to in this world. I'm proud to put this out into the world. And I also want people to have a really great experience, a really great creative experience. People think, I should write a book, and oh God, it's going to take so long, it's going to be so hard, or, they don't even know where to start. I help people walk them through the process as I manage the parts that they don't need to worry about so that the experience of creating something is a great experience and the finished product is something that they're really proud of.
That's amazing. That really speaks to what you were saying about instead of stifling that energy, the creative energy, funneling it, and then it's like you have something that you can be genuinely so proud of because it does reflect your creativity, and it's something that you can sell in the marketplace and therefore leverage your time. That trap of having a one-to-one business that you've hit the ceiling with, that's hard when you're just like, there's no more hours in the day, so my business is capped. So what do I do? And so what you do is you help people get out of that trap and into going from serving one-to-one to serving one-to-many and getting their message out there in a bigger way and in a way that's a beautiful expression of their creativity and their art and what they're here to do. So,
yeah,
awesome.
and I really dislike this sort of cookie cutter approach, like everybody do the same thing and everything looks the same, and the books that are self-published that look like dreadful, and I just can't stand that. I want to create something that's really unique and support people in creating something that looks different from what everything else is and the way everything else looks. That's really them. and that's unique.
That's awesome. It's you bringing your art to it too, like, in a way of like caring about quality and and seeing through all the stuff out there that just kind of looks generic and bland and is same thing churned out of a machine. So that's awesome. So for the business heroines who are tuning in today, how can they work with you?
So there's a couple of ways. You can go to my site, and we'll put the link there, the courageouscreatives.com, which is my business. And I have a free video called 3 Tips to Rekindling Your Creative Genius. You can watch that, get a little bit of a taste of that. Also, if you want to just get started and maybe you're somebody whose creativity has been repressed and, maybe you want to bring it out again and play with it or just start getting more into it. I have a product. Oh, hey, I actually have it here. You can take a look. Show us. I have a product that I created for myself. Can you see that?
Secrets to your creative genius.
Secrets to your creative genius.
Awesome.
And it is 4 videos and a full color workbook that helps you reconnect with that creative place inside of you, especially if you've lost touch with it, and helps you find that alignment with yourself so that you can then start bringing it out to others.
Awesome.
That's for sale on my website.
Awesome.
And you could also, I'd love to offer a strategy session to anyone who's looking to create an information product, be it book, home study system, audio, video. I have a great deal of experience in all types of media, print and digital. And I'd love to talk with you if that's something that you need. And that there's also a place on my website where you can sign up for that.
Okay, awesome. So it sounds like there's 3 ways. There's this video, the free video, which is on your site, which is a great way to get started. Then there is the DVD and series with a workbook for a home study program to really tap into your creative genius. And then if you want to go big and actually work with Bethany to create an information product for your business, you're offering a free strategy session, which is very generous. Thank you.
So exciting.
Yeah.
I love what I do. I love supporting creative people and bringing their work out into the world in bigger ways. And I love having fun doing it. So if you're somebody that likes to have fun, come to the right place.
No grumps allowed. And I love that because I think that when people are in joy with what they're doing, that is one of the biggest clues to excellence.
Yes.
Because you don't love to do something you kind of suck at. You
That's
love
right.
to do what you're amazing at. So I love hearing that you have fun and you love your business. So that's awesome. So, okay, before I let you go, do you have any last words of advice for the creative business heroines out there who are finding themselves out there in a left brain world but are ready to make money with their creativity?
Yes, I do. I have a couple of tips. One is actually make time in your life and put it on your schedule if you must. Make time to do that creative thing that you love to do. Maybe it's not part of your business right now, but if you're a creative person, you know that there's something that you do or that you can do that lights you up, that fires you up, that gives you that energy and that juice. And probably if you're an entrepreneur, you spend way too little time doing it. So my best advice is do that. Make time for that. Be creative. Whatever that looks like for you, it looks like something completely different to everyone. But actually make time to do that, because all of a sudden when you're coming from that creative energy, life starts to flow more smoothly.
Well, you have just convinced me to go take a dance class, because I'm thinking, what is my thing? And it's like something that I procrastinate, but whenever I do it, it's so fun. I'm like, I should do this more often. So Thank you.
Yeah, connect with that and choose something. I think as creative people, when we get into the left brain world and the left brain, like we've got to make it actually happen and ground it and start bringing it like in a specific methodical way. that's where stuff becomes kind of hard. And then, we start thinking about creativity, and it's easy to almost flip it into something like, oh, okay, it's one more thing we have to do. But do that fun stuff, have fun, because it's my firm belief that we do not have enough fun in life. And that, I love to laugh. I love to dance. I love to play music really loud and dance in my apartment. Like whatever it is that you love to do or that just makes you smile. I love watching these like funny comedy shows or videos that come up on Facebook that are totally distracting from my work, but it gives me a good belly laugh. Bring more fun into your life. Find out what's fun for you and start to do more of that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Bethany. It was such a pleasure to have you here. You're super fun, and I love what you're up to, and you're just making such a huge difference, and I can't wait for people to take advantage of what you have to offer and get those creative projects out there in a leveraged way with you. So thank you again so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. It's been my honor.
For all the business heroines who are listening in today, you can find out more about Bethany at businessheroinemagazine.com. We'll be sure to put all those links on there that she shared so that you can get in touch with her and follow her. So thank you for being here.
You have been watching Business Heroine TV for the entrepreneur who says she will and does. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check out what's new at businessheroinemagazine.com today.